So let me start with the session. So today I'm going to talk about Node.js for Salesforce developers. So basically, Salesforce has opened up the platform to supporting alternative programming languages to Apex, namely Node.js and JavaScript, as we all know. So that's the consequent continuation of Salesforce strategy over the recent years to open up the platform to more developers by following the web standards such as front-end application frameworks, Aura, LWC, and now the well-established server-side languages. It's very important to upskill ourselves and understand these new standards. So it is very important that we understand Node.js and JavaScript. And I think most of us have worked on JavaScript because Aura and LWC follow those standards. So today, basically, I'm going to talk about how Node.js can be helpful to you as a Salesforce developer, even if you are an architect or a developer or a newbie. How this can, help you. And uh, so Salesforce has lot of clouds and a lot of products. So I'm going to cover that, like for example, in Heroku or in Salesforce or in some other Salesforce product, how Node.js is applicable for Salesforce. So thanks to the sponsors of Pakistan Dreaming. Uh, this is something about me. Like I am 16x certified Salesforce architect. I'm also a group leader of Vadodara Group, and I was an Einstein champion. And currently, I also speak in various events. I'm a blogger and a YouTuber as well. You can connect with me on Twitter and LinkedIn. So today I'm going to talk about introduction, what is Node.js, what is NPM, applications of Node.js, how it is applicable for a Salesforce developer. A simple, so first I'll start in the demo, I'll start with a simple Node.js application, and uh, then after simple application I'll take a scenario and show how Node.js can be used in various applications inside Salesforce with different platforms like Salesforce, Heroku, Apache, Kafka, and many other platforms clubbed together, which is like a real life scenario in a project, how it works. And it might be helpful in your project. So uh, this is what we are going to discuss today. So let us start with what is Node.js. So this image shows a normal JavaScript engine. So this is a JavaScript file, and this is an engine which has the parser, the abstract syntax tree, the interpreter, compiler, that we know somewhat we know about these things. And then the JavaScript engine compiles the code, and the output is shown on our screen. So, see, JavaScript is one such language which runs on the server and client both. So there are we don't have lot of languages. So, for example, Apex runs on the server. For example, we have Aura and LWC. That is the front end. Those programming languages are used, or those frameworks are used for front end development. But JavaScript is one such language, and the unique feature is it can be used on client and server side both. So let's take this. So suppose we have a client and server, and we have a request and response, which is exchange between the client and server. So in this case, if we use JavaScript, so we if you know one programming language, that is JavaScript, you can do programming for the client side also and server side also. So that is the amazing thing, and here Node.js comes into picture. So with the help of Node.js, JavaScript can be used on server. So let me share an analogy with you. Analogy of a train. So the train will run wherever there are tracks and cables. So Node.js can run, JavaScript can run wherever we have a JavaScript engine. So if on the client side we have a Java, so on the client there is a browser. So uh, when we request something from another application or another server, from the browser the request is sent to the server. So the browser has a JavaScript engine that interprets JavaScript and sends the request to the server. So if that JavaScript engine is also present on the server side, so that way the JavaScript engine is present on the client side also and on the server side also, and the JavaScript engine interprets the code on both sides. So let us look at this some history of Node.js, which will give us more perspective about what I am talking about when I say that the JavaScript engine is present on both sides, on the client also and on the server also. So in 2009, an idea came to the mind of Ryan Dahl, who was an engineer at Google, that why not run JavaScript outside the browser? So earlier, JavaScript was only a client-side language that used to run on the browser on a JavaScript engine. So he thought, why not run this engine um on server? So he took V8 engine, which is V8 engine is a very famous JavaScript engine which is used by Chrome. So every day we Google, we search a lot of things on Chrome. So Chrome basically uses the V8 JavaScript engine. So Ryan Dahl actually took the V8 engine and embedded a C++ program and called it Node.exe. So this is the image that this engine can compile JavaScript, and this is used on servers. So this is how Node.js, was is started to be used on the servers. So different browsers have different engines. So like we discussed, V8 engine is used on for Chrome for Node.js, but SpiderMonkey is used by Mozilla. So there are other different JavaScript engines which are used by different browsers. So now, as from the last slide, we can conclude that what is Node.js. So Node.js is generally we can say that a runtime environment for JavaScript. So if you want to run JavaScript on the server, you need to have Node.js. Or if you want to create your own server or web application, then also you need Node.js. So let us come to the next thing. So if you know about Node.js, npm and Node.js are used together. Whenever you will install Node.js, npm will also be installed with it. So why is it so? Why do they go together? So let me explain. So whenever we install Node.js, npm is installed with it, and both of them go hand in hand. So what is npm? Npm is basically a software on your machine and a package repository. So npm is a like app exchange that we have for Salesforce. So npm is a package repository and also a client that is installed on your machine. So how does it help? So it has lot of JavaScript libraries are stored on npm. So suppose you want to develop something, so you can use the existing libraries or existing packages from npm. You do not have to create your code every time. You can reuse, like you don't have to invent the wheel. You can use the existing code from npm by downloading the packages, and it becomes easier. So why do we require npm? So you can download the packages and use it on your project. Why do you need npm in the middle? Why do you need a package manager? So in case of Salesforce, if you see, we have app exchange. So in app exchange, we download the packages and use it in our Salesforce org. So we don't have a package manager in that case. So why do we need a node a package manager in case of Node.js? So let's take an example. What used to happen is, in earlier times, suppose there is a jQuery. Uh, suppose there is you have used a jQuery library in your project. So when you use it, the jQuery version was older. You downloaded jQuery library, you stored it on your PC, and you are using it for your Node.js application. But later on, the library, its version got upgraded. So now the new version you will have to download the new version and use it in your project. And in the project there is a package.json file which contains a list of dependencies or the node modules, or we can call it the packages that are used in your project. So that list is contained in the package.json file which contains the metadata. So what
Sorry to interrupt
here
you.
what used to happen is,
Uh,
if the jQuery package or library is updated, then you have to download the new library on your machine, and then we have to refer it in the package.json. So all this work you have to do manually. So this manual work is, if you use npm, this manual work is removed.
Sorry to interrupt you,
npm takes care
Sakshi.
of this
The
manual work.
slides are not moving forward. Can
And
you please?
also there are some, very interesting things to note about npm. Npm is world's largest software registry. The registry contains over 8 lakh code packages. It is an open source developers, it is an open source for developers, and its full form is node package manager. And as you know, it has a lot of packages. So next time when, if you create a if you use javascript, or if you create a node.js project, before writing code you should always check what are the existing libraries that you can reuse. Now, as we know about what is Node.js and what is NPM, we can also see, and we should understand what are the applications of Node.js. When will you use this language? So, Node.js is fast, lightweight, scalable, efficient to run the code. 98% of the Fortune 500 companies use Node.js. Also, like Node.js is used in Internet of Things, real-time chat apps, single-page applications, real-time collaboration tools, streaming apps, apps with microservices architecture. So some amazing examples are that we didn't know that use Node.js are Gmail and Twitter, which are single-page applications. For IoT application, there is a pre application. With pre actually uses micro tag that is attached to the belongings, and it can be tracked via Bluetooth. So suppose you have some belongings and you want to track those belongings, so that micro tag will add to the belongings, and then pre can track your belongings, and it will not be lost. So that is one example. Then and alerts will be sent, and this is in a range actually. So that micro tag will work, and the node.js application will work in a certain range. Another is asma. Asma is an employee tracking system that uses smart watch of employee to track employee location. So this might not be very good for all the employees because your managers can track you, but it is a good feature. So PayPal also uses Node.js, and when it was asked to the PayPal team that why they use Node.js, so they replied that Node.js can be used by client and server side both, and it unifies the engineering specialty into one team, which allows them to understand the needs of their users at any level of technology stack. Another big company is LinkedIn, which uses Node.js. So when it was asked to them why they use Node.js, so they said they use it because it is scalable and good at interacting with other systems. Also, Netflix uses Node.js because it is fast, lightweight, modular, and also the startup time of the application is reduced by 70% if you use Node.js. Okay. Now we have seen a lot of things about what is Node.js, what is npm, and lot of things about JavaScript. So let us see how it is applicable in our Salesforce ecosystem. So we as Salesforce developers use LWC, use JavaScript, and we have knowledge of JavaScript because we have used LWC and Aura, which are similar standards. So we can reuse the same knowledge for Node.js. So now, if you know JavaScript, you can also do server-side development. That is an awesome thing. So Node.js has the largest package repository. So a lot of code reuse can happen. Most of the CLI tools like Salesforce CLI, Heroku CLI, It uses the Salesforce CLI built using Node.js framework Oclif. So basically, these day-to-day tools that we are using, we don't even know that it is developed on top of Node.js, like Salesforce CLI, Heroku CLI. LWC can be used in Node.js. So suppose you have developed a Lightning Web component, and now you want to use it in, you know, another web application that is not related to Salesforce. So LWC is open source. For using LWC, you don't need all like the Salesforce platform. You can use it externally as well. So this promotes reuse, and it is also easier for the developer. Also, you can build a web application in Node.js and deploy it to Heroku. And also LWC uses the npm repository. Another, after so many advantages, also there are more things like Salesforce function uh, can be developed on Node.js. So you can write a node function in Node.js, and it can be used on Salesforce. And LWR sites can be used with Experience Cloud. So LWR sites can also run on Node.js, and it's available as open source. Okay. So I hope this gives everyone a context that why Node.js is important for Salesforce developers. Now, as we are studying about it, and as we are learning about Node.js, so it's important to understand how the JavaScript engine works. So now let's see how the JavaScript engine works under the hood. So as you can see, context is an environment in which JavaScript runs. Context stores all the necessary information for execution of code. For example, the value of this is different in global context, and in the context of a method it is different. So when a method is called using an object, then this points to the object. But when you call this in the global context, it points to the window. So that way, based on the context, the value of the variable differs. So in JavaScript, we have the global context, and for each method, we have a different context. So for here, you can see we have a global context. Then we have a first method, which has a specific context for the first method. Then we have a second method, and we have a specific context for the second method. Okay. Also, there is another concept, that is stack. Stack is FIFO, that is first in first out container that stores functions. Execution always starts with a global context, and the global context is pushed onto the stack. So for example, here let's see this example of this small code. So in this code, we can see that we have these two functions. So first of all, the global context is pushed onto the stack. Then after the global context is pushed onto the stack, uh, it, the first method is called. So first method is pushed onto the stack. Then the second method is called. The second method is also pushed onto the stack. Then when the second method completes execution, it is pushed out of the stack. Then the first method completes. So here we can also see that second method is called inside the first method. So that's why after first method, second method is pushed onto the stack. When the execution of the second method is over, it is pushed out, and then the rest of the first method executes. And then after the first method is complete, it is pushed out of the stack. So the JavaScript engine contains heap memory, stack, execution context. And another one important thing is event loop. Let's take an example of asynchronous callout and understand what is event loop. So let's understand it. So this is a basic diagram, but let's understand with an example so it's easy. So here we can see there is a call stack. There is also web APIs on the browser. So first of all, what will happen is this first console.log will be pushed on the stack. Then the set timeout, this method will be pushed on the stack. But because this has a timer attached to it, and it has a callback function as well. After the what this means is, after the set timeout method is executed, call the callback function after 2000 milliseconds. So once the set timeout is pushed onto the stack, it is because it has a timer, it is pushed to the web API. The call stack Java is single threaded, so it will continue execution. It will then go to the console.log while the set timeout, the timer is running here in the web API. So then the console.log everybody will be printed, and then after 2000 milliseconds are over, the web API, it will, the function callback will be pushed on to the event queue here, and then when the call stack is empty, this event queue will be pushed into the call stack. So that is how internally this will work, this scenario inside the JavaScript engine. So after we have seen all these things, I think it's time for a demo now. So let us see one thing. Let me, for the demo, let me share my screen again. Yeah, my screen is visible. So here, so for downloading Node.js, we can go to the nodejs.org, and here in the downloads, we can download the Node.js, and Node.js and npm will be downloaded together. And here you can see there is a latest, it gives a latest stable version also, and it gives a stable version also, and it gives the current version also. So we can download whichever version is suitable, and for different windows and for different Mac OS, different installables are there. So it is a wizard, so it is an easy installation, so you can install that. Also in this scenario, so we'll create a simple Node.js application. We will install express.js. So express.js, as we discussed, npm is a package repository for Node.js. So we will install this express.js package, and we will run our web application on Node.js server. So basically, what is Express.js? So let me go to the. So if you search in Express and npm on Google, then you will find this Express package. So Express is generally used for web application developed on Node.js. Here, if you see, there are different things visible, like how many times this package has been installed, or the repository, and different properties are there. And also here there are the installation instructions for this, for Express. So if you want to use it in your project, you can use it. So we'll start from the beginning, how to create a Node.js project, the first project. So here, let me. Uh, so here, let us start looking at how a Node.js project works. So first of all, when we start with our project, first of all we'll see node minus v and npm minus v. First of all, we'll see how the if the Node.js and npm is installed correctly on our machine before beginning with the project. So here, that is the first thing that we need to do, and it's giving the version of node version and the npm version. So let's create a folder to start with our project. So now I've created a folder with make directory. I'll list it out. So let me enter into the folder. So there I'll create the first Node.js project. So we will use npm init command for initializing a project. So here in this folder, now we are in the correct folder. Here I'm using the npm init command. This command helps in initializing a project, and it is asking me various questions like what is your package name, what is the version, and basically if we see this this npm init command helps in initializing a project and creates a package.json file inside the project. How it helps is the package.json, it contains the metadata about your project. So this is the JSON format, and the and npm init has created our project. So let me list. So we can see, as you can see, this is our Node.js project. Inside that, package JSON is created automatically using the npm init command. So now the next thing that we will do is, so this is the package.json file. So if you look at this file, it contains a script, it contains the name, version different. So it took inputs from us. When I entered the npm init command, it asked for the name of the project, it asked for different inputs. So after we enter the input, it stores it in this file. This is the metadata about our project. So let's go ahead. Okay. So the next thing that we want to do is, we'll create a app.js file. So this is the starting point of our project. Now we'll create a JavaScript file from where the execution will start. Node.js will know that Node.js has to start the execution from this file. So generally, the name is index.js, which is used in the Node.js project, but you can use your own JavaScript file with your own name also. That is, but you'll have to specify that in your package.json. We have to specify from where the execution should start for the Node.js project. So let's go ahead. Now, as we have created the project, now we will install the uh, now as we have created the project, we will install the npm install express. So we saw that when we saw the express package, we saw that the command was mentioned how to install that package. So if we run that command, npm install express, and we'll also use npm install express minus minus save. What this does is, because Node.js, in your project, it should be mentioned which packages you are using. So when we will do npm install express minus minus save, this express package and its version will get saved into the package.json in the metadata. So this is the command that we are going to use. Okay, so this is something that we already saw. So we are going to use this npm install express save. Let us run this command. So you can see 10 packages and audited 51 packages. So 10 packages have been added to our project because we ran this command. So here you can see this in our project, this node modules has been added, and this node module has the uh, package, express package. And in the package.json, the dependencies, you can see express and its version has been added. So let us open our project. Now, as we have reached here, let us open our project, the project folder in Visual Studio Code. So here I'm opening that project in Visual Studio Code. Once this project is open, what we will do is, first of all, we will copy the code, from will not write the code completely here, because that code is taken from the express documentary and sorry, documentation. So here if you look at this, so first of all what is happening is we are actually specifying that the express package is required. Constant express equal to require express. So we are specifying that express package is required for this project. Then we are specifying cores is required. So cors, this is a package used to allow API call across boundaries. So from one domain to another domain, if you want to make an API call in Node.js, you need to use this library. Then we are creating an app. Here if you see this line, constant app is equal to express and the brackets. So this is actually initializing, uh, it is initializing the a web application, or you can also call it a kind of a server. So let me uh, so if you imagine a client and server, in this case we are creating a we are writing this code for a web application which will respond to browser. The browser will send a request to our web application which is developed, which is our simple Node.js application, which is using express.js, express to create a web application. So our web application should respond when the browser sends a request. Our web application should respond. So here you can see there are different here you can see we have in the app, that is the web application that is going to run on Node.js. For this application we are writing different methods. So app.get, so when a browser sends a get request to our web application, how should it respond? So if it sends a here is the first one. If it sends a get request, then without any parameters, you can see the parameters are empty. So if it sends a get request, then we will only reply by hello world. Then the second is when the browser sends a get request with a parameter of country and country name, then uh, the response that our web application will send is country is set successfully. So similar way, if the browser sends a post request with the parameter set name, then its response, we will send the data.request.body. So in the request, whatever name is coming, we will set it on the server. So in post, some data will be sent, a name will be sent, and we will set it on the server. So these are just small examples of how it can be used. Express.js can be used to create your web application so quickly. So let me so as we have already seen this part. Let's see the package.json. So basically the package.json has yeah, so here the main file is index.js, but we want to start our execution from app.js. So what we are going to do is node app.js. We are going to run this command. Let me show you. So we want to start our execution from app.js, like we earlier also I have mentioned. So here we will run node app.js. So basically Node.js server will start on my local machine. As you can see, as we run the server, um here the we have written a console.log. Example, app listening on, our web application is listening on localhost 3000. So the our application has started running on my local machine. So now we need to what we need to do is from a browser, browser, now we need to send a request to the web application that we have created. So as this is running on my local machine, so we'll give localhost, and it was running on port 3000. The Node.js is running and my application is running on Node.js. So here if we see, it is returning hello world, because in our get method app.get we have written the code that return hello world. So similarly now we will use uh, let us now use another application to send this request. Let's check this. So here in this example, what we will do is we will use this. This is a extension which is used to send a GET request on behalf of a browser to the local host. We will send a GET request, and we are sending the name here, if you see. And in the body, in the uh, body, we are specifying the name. Okay, so let's see. We are sending in the body, we are specifying name equal to Sakshi, name equal to Sakshi, address equal to Mumbai. So this in app, in the get method, in we have used the slash name parameter, sorry, the name parameter, and uh, that request we are sending from this extension to the web application. So let us see the response. Yeah, so sorry, the let me correct this. This is actually set name and post method, because we have to send the body, we have to send the name. So we'll use the post method. So we have sent the request, and let's see data name Sakshi. So the data was received by the server, and also on the uh, okay. So we don't have any console logs here, so we cannot see that on the server. But that is how the browser has sent the request, and here we can see the name has been set. Let's move to the let me share my PPT again. So we saw how to create a simple Node.js application, and we also called the Node.js application from the browser, and our Node.js application, the web application, was running on the local host. Um Let us now understand about the function, because Salesforce function is a amazing functionality that runs on the that can use Node.js. So with Salesforce function, we can perform or compute heavy tasks that were previously challenging to do in our org. Basically, maybe because of the resources are limited, as we have governor limits in a Salesforce org. So the resources for a single org is limited. So suppose you cannot create a document in the Salesforce org, or transferring a file from the Salesforce org to SMTP server is not very common or an easy thing, and actually Apex doesn't support it. So that's why we might need Salesforce functions to do things that are not like very challenging or difficult to do on the Salesforce environment. So how is this possible? Like how does the function run? So the Salesforce elastically scales the compute resources for your functions, and complex business calculations such as loan processing, managing product license keys, contract billing, demand and forecasting, batch processing, daily inventory stocking. So these kind of use cases are possible, and Node.js can be used to write a Salesforce function. So let me show you. Let me show a small demo that how it is done. Okay, just confirming if my screen is shared. Okay, let me share my browser again. Okay. So here you can see I'm using a project where I've mentioned the this is a Salesforce project where I'm going to run the function locally on my machine instead of the org, because for that permission and licenses are required for the org for running the Salesforce function. So going to run the Salesforce function on my local machine. So this is the start mentions the command that will be used to run the function, Salesforce function. This is the package.json file. This is the Salesforce function. This is the format of the Salesforce function. Then next is the this is the sfdx project json, which contains the org url and the name, and we can specify the default org in the Visual Studio Code as well. uh, then the next thing, okay, now let's run the function. So the command to run the function locally on the Node.js server is, so the to run the function, the Node.js should be started on your machine, local machine. Only then you can run it locally. So this is the function sf run function start. This is used to run the function. And what this will do is this will actually query the org. This will actually query the org and get the account. So let me also share this. So this is the document to test a function locally with Node.js if you don't have an org which is where functions are enabled. So basically this is the command that we ran, and to get the accounts from the org. So this is how you can invoke a function and run it and basically stop the function. So this is basically for testing if you don't have an org that supports it. Um, Another thing that now the last topic that I wanted to share for this session is, um, just a second, I'm just sharing my screen again. So basically, for running the functions locally, the prerequisites were sfdx Salesforce CLI should be there, and Node.js should be installed and should be running on our machine. Now let us see how Node.js. We have seen some examples where Node.js can be used. Now let us see an example where Node.js can be used in a big organization with different scenarios, different use cases. How Node.js can be applicable and how code can be reused between different systems with this model. So this I am using a example from GitHub, which is the e-cars example. So the example is that Pulsar is a fictitious electric car company. They need to sell cars on site through through their customer facing website, and the features of the car should be configurable, like the color of the car, the the whatever different things are, like the seat color, or different styles of whatever parts of the car. So that should be configurable. So the challenges here are that there is limited time for development and there is a small team of developers. So for this, actually, the applications cannot be developed from scratch because the time is limited. So how will this work? Um, so at the time of development, the resources are limited. So solutions like Heroku and Salesforce are the best solutions, because Salesforce, it provides out of the box functionality to build applications quickly. Heroku, because it is platform as a service, which is a great partner for Salesforce, and it takes care of the tedious platform prerequisites, and we can concentrate on development of our application. And Heroku supports many programming languages. One of that is Node.js. So if you have a Node.js application, you can deploy that on Heroku. So in this case, we will use Salesforce, Node.js, and Heroku for this solution. So let us see how the solution works. So here you can see. Okay, let us discuss and I'll show the demo. So, so the Node.js website is hosted on Heroku, and the leads that are captured from Heroku are then taken to Salesforce in the Sales Cloud. Then Lightning Data Service enables Pulsar salesperson to configure the car for on-site customers and generate a PDF using a custom-built Heroku service. And PDF data is pushed to Salesforce. So here you can see in the Sales Cloud, once the lead is there, the sales rep will work with the lead and get the data, and he will create a configuration for that car based on the inputs from the user, and he will create a PDF and pass on that data to a another Heroku application. This will also be a Node.js application. And what is happening on the service side is, there are sensors on the cars. So Heroku MQTT broker app, this will be used to get the information from all the cars. It will be the sensor information that is gathered from the sensors will be stored on Apache Kafka, and then Heroku streaming web data application will be used to send that data to service, and then the technician can work on that on the car diagnostics. So this is how it can work with the help of Node.js. Um, Let me share my browser with you. So here, this is the example how this will work. So here you can see the car configuration is done. PDF, for PDF generation, it is sent to Heroku, and the PDF is created. And leads are generated. The leads are generated from uh, Heroku. Uh, Let me show you the example. So this is the application where you can select different colors, and the lead is sent to Salesforce with the details of the car that was selected. So this is a blog from Salesforce which shows the e-car application. Also on GitHub you can find the details. So this is the Pulsar car configuration, and how Node.js application is used. Here the prerequisites and installation details are also there to deploy this to your org, and you can enhance it, or you can learn from the code how this can be used. I hope it was helpful, and it would inspire you to learn more of Node.js and JavaScript. And these are some of the references that I had used in my session. So thank you everyone, and thank you Pakistan Dreaming for giving me this opportunity to speak.